Alrighty, so in the last video, I totally told you we're going to go over arrays and complex data types, and it turns out I lied. So instead, what we're going to do is I'm going to give you a little assessment. I haven't figured out exactly what this assessment is going to be, but let's figure it out. Okay, so the goal is to first check to make sure that you understand all of this shit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn away from the screen and I'm going to say, please, now at this moment in time, I want you to create 5 variables that are strings, one of which will be a constant variable. I want you to create 3 numbers. One number will be regular, so you can just say like a equals 5. Another one, the other 2 will be calculated based off of an expression. And cool. And then now I want you to create 3 booleans. One will be a simple set to a value. The other 2 will be based off of some of your other variables. Cool. There's your assignment. All righty. Go ahead and pause the video now. 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 Pause the video, because I am going to work out the solution right now. But please try and do it by yourself, because you will learn more that way. I promise you. All right. Sweet. 5 variables that are strings. Cool. We're going to do string 1. So one of them has to be a constant. I'll say string 1 is going to equal do you feel lucky, punk? Well, do ya? Great. We have string 1. You don't have to call it this. You can call it whatever you want. String 2 is going to be hello. Const string 3 is going to equal world. Const, we'll call it greeting. And you know what? We'll do this one as an expression, because I think that's good practice. I'm going to make it string 2 plus string 3. And you know what? We've written a lot of code. It's best to check some of this code as we go. Realistically, you want to check all of it, but since these are like simple variables, I'm not too stressed about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to console.log my greeting, because guess what? If my greeting is right, then that also means that these 2 are right. So let's go ahead and I am going to run app.js. Bam. And it does say hello world. Cool, it's working. And you know what? We're going to say const. We're going to say final string. It's going to equal string 1. It's just going to be a straight up copy. And cool. There we go. We have 5 strings created. All right. Now we got to create 3 numbers. Again, yours obviously don't have to be the same as mine. One number will be regular. All right. So the one regular number will be regular number. Notice how I use consts for all of these. Maybe I should make some of these lets. I don't know why I might need to. In this case, see if you can answer that question by yourself, by the way. That'd be fun. See if you can answer, why would I need to change it to let? But for now, we can just, I don't care what you call it. All right, cool. So now I'm going to create 3 numbers. One number will be regular. The other 2 will be calculated based off of an expression. All right, so my first one is going to be, we'll call it A. Let A equal 1. And then we're going to say let B equals 2. And now we are going to say let C equals A plus B, and guess what? C should equal 3. Let's make sure that that works. I'm going to console.log C. I'm going to run that code. Bam, it equals 3. Fuck yeah. Mazel tov. Good work. All right, cool. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create 3 booleans. The first one is just going to be a regular boolean that I'm defining myself. So I am going to call this boolean is John cool. We're going to set that equal to false. So now, just kidding. We'll set it equal to, you know what? We're going to demonstrate the difference between const and let. So we'll do that in a second. Let's console.log is John cool. I am going to run this and it says false, and I don't like that. But instead of changing this line of code, I'm going to change is John cool. I'm going to set it to a new value by redeclaring its value to true. And holy shit, I get an error. All I wanted to do was be cool, and now I'm breaking my code. I'm a terrible programmer, but wait, I'm actually excited because the road to becoming a great programmer is about getting excited by these error statements. So I'm going to look and I'm going to say, what did I fuck up? All right, here it says type error, assignment to constant variable. What does this const mean again? Oh, right, it means I cannot redeclare the value. Well, fuck me twice on a Sunday. All I gotta do is change that to a let, and lo and behold, I am cool. Sweet. So is John cool is now true. So now to meet these other 2 methods, we're going to say the other 2 will be based off of your other variables. So here's what we're going to type in. We're going to make one. I'm going to make a variable called is A greater than B. Okay, that's what I'm going to call it. And I am going to set this equal to A is greater than B. And guess what? If A is greater than B, this will evaluate to true. If A is not greater than B, this will evaluate to false. Since A is 1 and B is 2, I suspect that this will equal false. Let's find out on today's episode of Coding with John. All righty. So I'm going to run this, and indeed it did equal false. Because remember, this is like what an expression is here, right? It's a bunch of variables that you run some math on, and then it equals a value. That's exactly what an expression is, and there we go. This expression evaluates to false. Therefore, the value of this variable is false. The last one I'm going to do is I'm going to throw a little curveball. I'm going to say is B even. Okay, I just want to check to see if it's even. Now, the way that we check to see if something's even, here's a little hack here. I'm going to open up Node so I can just test some JavaScript code. I want to show you all this operator called the Modulo Operator. So let's say I do 3 modulo 2. That equals 1. Let's see if we can find a pattern here. Let's do 4 modulo 5. That equals, oh, I did 4 modulo 0. That's 0. 4 modulo 5, and that's 4. I'm trying to figure out what is the pattern here. Does anybody remember what a remainder is? Well, hopefully you do, but when you divide the left number by the right number, it's whatever left over. So for example, you divide 3 by 2, 2 goes into 3 once, therefore 1 is left over. It's just the remainder. That's all we get. Now we can check to see if something is even by checking to see if, let's test it with 2. If I test 2 over 2, what does that equal? This equals 0, right? So if this expression to the left here is equal to 0, then it's true. Now notice those 3 equal signs are different than this equal sign here, because this is more of like a question. It's called a comparator. It's like, is this thing on the right equal to the thing on the left? That is the question I propose. Whereas this one is like saying A equals 1. I am declaring the value of A right here, right now. Meanwhile, this one is actually asking the question, is 2 modulo 2 equal to 0? So for example, I'll just do 2 equals to 2, and that is true. And if I do 1 equals to 2, it is false because 1 does not equal 2. All right, I will allow y'all to experiment with that on your own. But if I want to check to see if B is even, why don't y'all take a second to try and figure that out? Pause it, because I am impatient. Pause it, and here's what my solution would be. I would say if B modulo 2 is equal to 0, that's the value here. And we're going to check, is B even? And hopefully when I run this, bam, it says true because B is 2. And you know what? We can check this, make sure my math is right by changing this B to an A. Bam, and it is false for A, true for B. Looks like it's fucking working to me. I'm happy with that. This was your short-term assignment. If you can get through this and feel comfortable with this, then I would say go ahead and move on to the next thing, which is where we're going to start talking about arrays. Just please note that it's going to get quite a little bit more complex once we start dealing with more complex data structures. So get that brain ready. Go take a poop or something. Do what you got to do. Shake it out. Get your mind cleared off. Make sure you really grasp these concepts. And we are going to go into some more complex data types. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. God bless America, or something along those lines.